Let's play What's in My Toddler's Poop. I knew about the Mancala marbles, still missing one. I expected the rock. The quarter surprised me. All of this surprises me. Like, I get it, kids, a lot like dogs, sometimes are faster at putting things in their mouth they're not supposed to than you can stop them. But the way you're phrasing it seems like this is a very regular thing, that your toddler is unsupervised to the level where they can literally just swallow marbles and rocks. Apparently you're surprised about the penny, so you kind of watched them put the marbles into their mouth and then not intervened on time. And it kind of seems like this has happened too many times. This seems like it isn't a flex to be like, hey, my toddler swallowed these many things. Like, what? I'm not a mom, but I would not want to admit that openly, that I didn't pay enough attention to my child, that he swallowed a bunch of things. Hello BabyQueers, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing some shit mom group say. It's gonna be a wild ride. We're gonna get frustrated. I feel like this is probably kind of on par with entitled parents. It's gonna be wild. So settle in. Grab something to drink. If you didn't come prepared, grab some tea or water or whatever else you like to drink. And I will get frustrated. Are you hydrated? Good. Let's go. Actually, do something that'll help. Take a white onion and slice 2 fat chunks from it. Put them on the kids' feet with socks and have them nap. It'll draw toxins out and break the fever. I did this once when I was pregnant and I was really sick. Anyways, I fell asleep and when I woke up my boyfriend was home from work and he came into the room and was like, what's that smell? I told him, he made me throw out my socks and the onions and told me if I ever did that again, he's out. Lol, ground for termination of said unification, lamau. Okay, do I think it'll actually help? Honestly, I don't know. Like, some things like these seem really stupid, but they do still help. I've never tried this, and I'm really glad I don't get sick often, because onions make me cry to an extreme amount, so I probably wouldn't want to try this, But do I think it's a reason to freak out so much? No. Like, in this instance, I'm actually gonna come for the boyfriend, because honestly, yeah, onions don't smell great, but if it helps, it's gonna put less strain on the body overall than taking a lot of medication, So is it worth a try? Probably, if you find it actually helps, okay. If it doesn't help, you can still go for like a harder option and actually go to the doctor or take meds or something like that, But why freak out so much? That seems weird as well. Boy moms, I'm looking for a recommendation on hair product for my 2-year-old son. The way his cowlicks are make it so that his hair needs to be on the longer side in the front. Unfortunately, we had a rough haircut experience and the hairdresser cut his bangs so short it looks ridiculous. So I'm looking for a product to help style it. I've tried sea salt sprays, which looks great for about 15 minutes and then his hair falls apart. A 2-year-old. A literal toddler who couldn't care less. And that other people don't really look at you and be like, no, but your 2-year-old isn't like fully styled out. That's weird. Like, I know some people are like that, but it just seems weird to be so obsessed over it in a 2-year-old child. Why? I mean, listen, I appreciate that you're trying something that isn't gonna be super toxic if your child somehow grabs his hair and then puts his fingers into his mouth. Because sea salt spray, while probably not tasting good, it's just maybe gonna stop him from doing it again. It still seems kinda weird. Hi, I need a babysitter 5 days a week to 6 days a week in my home, not yours, in my home. My daughter's colic and I have a lot of things to do for her colic. My husband works 6 days a week, I have cameras everywhere in the house, I will be getting every 2-week pay, so we will have to wait till payday to get paid, or willing to help out and just watch her and then wait till I get paid, that would be fantastic. I'll be doing background checks, of course. I'm looking for backup babysitters in my home. My daughter's 3 months old. I'm doing background checks. I don't need negativity. I just want my bills paid so my husband and I have to work. If you say you can watch her in your home, I will not be responding to you. You're more than welcome to bring your kids. I have snacks, food you can use and have, but it's all in my home. I live here. I'm posting on this page and I'll be working. After the background checks is done and everything comes back clear, I want to do a working interview to see if you can handle my kids and her colicky. If I see you can deal with it and have patience, then I will hire you, but she means a lot to me and I will be getting paperwork that you have to be signing a written agreement in person, and I will be getting it notarized, and therefore something does happen to my home, I could take it to the next level. I need this by Monday so I can do the work and stuff. I need a response. Please send me a message if you're interested. I will talk about pay in the hours and the time, and thank you, have a great day. If you have further questions, you can message me in my inbox. If you have rude negativity, I will not be messaging you. I'll be messaging the people that are interested, and I will pay for the background check. This somehow seems very helicopter mom-ish, but also kind of not, because you're supposed to kind of advertise it like you're looking for someone to help take care of your child. Like, sure, you want to be safe, you want to find someone who's a good match, who actually knows how to take care of children, who you can trust to, be careful with your home and just like not damage anything or something on purpose. Sure. So honestly, running background checks on these people you're hiring as a babysitter to have in your home? Sure, yeah, seems fair, but just the way this is phrased just seems kind of unhinged. And also, is it just me? Is it an American thing to not put like the amount you're willing to pay or like a range you're willing to pay by hour, the per hour in the description or anything? I mean, you wrote a lot, so maybe you just didn't have the space or time anymore because you were busy on your way to work, but wow. And maybe if your child is sick, I know in the US sick leave for kids is not as available a lot of the time as it is in Germany, but still, I think if your child is that sick, you might want to take off work for a few days or weeks at least. Somebody tell me no, but I'm so serious about my content creating journey that I'm asking my man for another baby just because pregnancy fits my niche so perfectly. 10 months worth effortless content. Am I losing it or what? By the way, I'm 8 months postpartum already. I do think you're losing it. You're literally talking about having another child, not because you want another child or because you want your current child to have a sibling, because you think it might be great for them, or because you just like want to raise another child. No, you're talking about it because you want to make content out of it. And then as soon as it's born, it's no longer interesting to you because, well, you have your content and it's fine. Listen, there are a lot of reasons to have kids, but I feel like just having them because you want to make content out of them. Like, if you're a content creator and you want to have a child, but you're not having a child to create content in the first place, I don't really have an issue. Like, a lot of content creators who have kids will kind of include their kids in posts, and it's fine. Some people take it way too far and just exploit their kids, but if you just like have them in family pictures, a lot of people like maybe even blur the face or only show the baby from the back or something so people won't recognize them or something. Fine, but this seems like a great idea. Intuition against follow-up on abnormal newborn screening. Anytime they want a blood sample, it just seems like it's to gather info for them, not to help us. However, they have to show it's helping us or no one would do it. Apparently it shows for rare conditions that baby can later develop. I did it and then I got a letter a month later saying it was abnormal and I needed to redo it, which I did not. It might greatly benefit your child's life if you go back and redo that test, especially if the results were abnormal. My daughter was born early and with a paralyzed lung, cleft lip, and palate and heart problems, so she was very sickly. Yet her metabolic screening was good. That just goes to show how important and versatile that test is. But as always, trust your mama hard, we're all so doing good. It was so long ago, and my intuition is screaming not to do it. I mean, listen. I'm not gonna come for your choices as a parent. But I feel like a lot of people aren't great at actually considering all sides and actually considering what's best for their child's health. You know, and I get it, if your intuition is saying no, it kind of can be hard, but at least kind of trying to research into it further to see if it is actually necessary, if it might actually be a good idea. What would maybe still be good, because just not doing health screenings or anything just seems like a bad idea. If your neighbor was getting her daughter her childhood vaccines, how long would I have to keep my grandson away to avoid shedding? Stay away from them indefinitely. Anyone poisoning their child is willing to turn you into the state for not doing so. I don't feel like this is a fair statement. I have plenty of friends who vaccinate, and we're both completely respectful of the other's decision. My neighbor is one of the most important people in my family's lives, and we are on complete opposite ends of about every spectrum. I sense you have a personal experience to make you feel this way, but not everyone out there is going to do it. I was arrested in Massachusetts because I didn't show a vax passport. It's been 800 days and I'm still defending myself in court, so yeah, it's personal. Never mind the fact that in 2024, with the amount of social media information there is, it is damn near impossible to plead ignorance. Playing Russian roulette with other people, especially defenseless children or babies, is murderous. Show it to go where? What the hell does that have to do with right now? Posting on this group save everyone from having to report you. Everyone knows your stance if you post about it on Facebook. This is absurd. Noma, what is the state going to do about it? This comment is so absurd. Yeah, I think your head is in the sand to what our government and medical field are doing to people, parents, and children when they turn away from Big Pharma. 3 weeks. We never cared about that. My kids never caught anything. We're not afraid of common childhood illnesses. All of our close friends' kids are up to date. Mine are intact at 7 and 9 years old. A few weeks. None. Everyone around gets cupcakes all the time. We don't avoid just like we don't want people avoiding us. Yeah, you never know who around you has been recently jabbed. If you go out in public, chances are you're crossing paths with multiple people daily who've been recently jabbed for who knows what. It's ideal, and it might be to try to avoid people who are. It's impractical. Just go live your life. 2 weeks is my general rule. Day 7, oddly enough, is said to be the highest shed if it's new cocoa vaccine, and though I'd say 2 months. If you can avoid, fabulous. If you can't, don't sweat it, and the sun kills most things, so I never worry about parks and outdoor play areas. 3 weeks. Okay, there were a bunch more comments, but they were all surprisingly similar, and honestly, when did this become a trend? Like, seriously, like, I've heard the other side of it, of people who vaccinate their kids to kind of not want them to be around unvaccinated kids because who knows what illnesses they might bring because they're not vaccinated against them. But this is new. I've not heard of people being worried about vaccine. Like, what? How do you think a vaccine is gonna shed? And also quoting social media as a source for medical information is a bold choice. It's a bold choice because Karen, who has 3 children who are unvaccinated and are somehow doing fine, in a Facebook group tells you that it's the best option. Again, kind of doing actual research that doesn't involve social media, when it comes to your child's health specifically, seems like a good idea. Boy moms, how do you deal with the fact that your son will grow and leave you and you will always be second best to his new family and wife? I know it's how it should be, but it's hard. My boy is 17 and in a good relationship. I can already see he's super involved with his girlfriend's family. I read it's very common and that as a boy mom we just have to accept it and enjoy the time he does spend with us when he's older. it's hard to know how the future will be and that he will be more involved with his new family, because they say daughters are always close with their moms, and so those in-laws are always the priority, not the son's mom. Is that really how this works? Because, hey, people are different, you know? So if you have a close relationship with your son, and your son wants to keep a close relationship with you, he will. Will he also be spending time with his wife's or fiance's family? Absolutely. I mean, that's her family. If she's also close with their family, they will also, of course, want to spend time with them. And isn't that kind of the entire thing about children, that they grow up and spend less time with you because they're out there living their own lives? But you still want to be upset about it. Like, I get it. Even though you should be prepared for it, doesn't mean you automatically feel fine about it, you know? But still, why? It's a crazy world out there, and I'd like some insight from Crunchy Mamas. My 9-year-old is a very bright child, but is struggling to focus at school. He understands the concept, I'm told, but when it comes to independent work, he just rushes through, and while he could score 10 out of 10, he would score 5 out of 10 because he doesn't take his time to read the instructions. And could that be the issue, that he absolutely hates reading? He absolutely hates it. Loves math, and he's an A+ student at math as long as there are no word problems. Once he needs to read a problem to solve it, it's game over. I don't know what to do. We live in such a crazy rush world. I feel like I'm always on the run to get anything and everything done, as have a baby as well, and my hubby works 6 days a week, 12-14 hours a day, so we're exhausted is an understatement, and maybe that's why I can't figure out how to help him. I don't want the typical answer of therapy, he has ADD, etc. I don't believe in these things. There has to be a better options for our crunchy families. Thank you. School is not for boys. Boys fixate and focus on their likes obsessively, hence there are no or very few female stamp collectors. School doesn't allow for this kind of diving deep learning, and it's very stressful, hence fight or flight, ADD-like distraction. My boys fixate on topics like reverse engineering things and understanding. My son learned violin at 4 years old, knew all the notes, read music, but wanted to understand how the strings work. It wasn't about the instrument, it was about how and why. To add, most girls are pleasers. They'll do anything to stay in good graces with the teachers and peers because they're more social creatures. In short, don't stress, get him a hobby of engineering, build forts outside or collecting stamps. Then have him explain it to you and or write it out. It'll all work out well for him. Don't let them tell you. He needs the reassurance from you that he's smart, and ensure that the school will not be negative about it. And who cares about testing? The A students eventually work for the C students. I see trades in his future. He's bored and sees no point in straining his brain, and I do not blame him. They make school hard for no reason, just to test them. It won't matter, and 90% of what they teach is not used and forgotten. I agree, but I still need to make him understand at this age that he needs to pass these tests with good scores, because they will matter if he goes to college or whatnot. My son is homeschooled. He can read, but he doesn't like it. He's great at math, but same thing, he rushes through and makes mindless mistakes. Remember the saying that if you ask a fish to climb a tree? We all have our strengths and interests. I also thought ADD and BS, but then would watch him build Legos for 4, 5 or even 6 hours in the row, just because he was interested in them. He can spend hours telling me about the new game he created in coding class, but he can't spend 2 minutes to explain what he did in his writing class. We all can't be proficient at everything. Support and nurture his strength, adapt to his weaknesses. I know I'm not going to see my son read a book, but I also know that whatever instructions he needed for games, whatever research he needs to do on Hot Wheels, he's able to write, type, or read and comprehend. My niece didn't like to read, but liked to cook, so my sister made her read the recipe. As long as they can read and comprehend, that's all that matters. Honestly, this last advice isn't too bad. First of all, if you've watched other videos, you know how I feel about ADHD, obviously. Because people like to think it's just being distracted and not being able to focus on anything, whereas just kind of a difference or a difficulty in focus, that it's like difficult to make your brain focus on anything, that's not interesting. And super easy, typically, to focus, or at least it can happen that you're able to like hyper focus and actually not recognize time passing and just build 3,000 plus pieces of like Lego pieces, you know, without knowing that you're hungry or that you need to pee. That doesn't really mean he doesn't have ADHD. But that aside, kind of a lot of children struggle with this. Like, a lot of children don't like doing the homework and have their topics that they absolutely love and have topics that they just really hate and don't want to do. They still need to do them. And it sucks. It really does. And it can kind of be difficult to motivate your child, you know, to at least stay semi-interested and, you know, at least sort of put in the work. But yeah, honestly, I mean, as long as they can read and comprehend, they don't have to love reading. Not everyone has to love reading or love sports, you know, but moderation in everything seems like a good approach. And to get children to do that can be difficult. But you decided to have children, so good luck with that. I hope this is allowed, sorry if it's not. Anyone's husband looking for a job? My in-laws are holistic, like-minded, and Christian, and are looking for 2 like-minded people to fill landscaper positions. Full-time and pay is worthwhile. Work is in these areas. You work March to November and then go on unemployment in the winter. Snowplowing is good money for the winter as well. If you know of someone interested, please send a message. They're wonderful people. Listen, I'm not gonna come for it too much. If you care that much that your landscapers have the same religion, go off. It still seems weird. It seems really weird, and technically, I mean, at least as a company, you're not like allowed to officially discriminate someone based on religion or anything. If you're doing this like as a private person, you can still do it. It seems really weird, and you shouldn't, because someone's religion isn't gonna influence how good of a job they do and their work ethic necessarily or anything, so it seems really weird, but go off. And also, if you do this as a company, you're gonna get sued. Hey mamas, one of my children has been experiencing extreme night terrors. They were saying a man in the toilet was chasing them down the dark corridor. Could this be a result of the 5G towers? Thank you. You blurred how many people said yes, or did only one person say yes and it showed the picture or something? But anyways, yeah, of course, it's definitely the 5G towers, because your children have like a chip implanted into their brain that makes them receive it, and it streams horrors into their brain. That's how this works. Okay, has anyone in this group strategically fathered a child based on the Little League age chart? I did not take that into account with my son. He has a May birthday. Bad planning. Shout out to all the dads planning ahead and having babies in September. That month will always be the oldest in sports leagues, correct? I mean, listen. Imagine going through all the effort and planning it, and then you have a daughter, and then you're just gonna throw a whole fit about it because you wanted a son. As if girls' leagues probably don't have the same age charts. And I'm not gonna stand here and tell you that. People aren't that crazy. They haven't done this, but the fact that you're thinking about it and regret not doing it probably means someone else has definitely done this. Someone else has literally tried to. I mean, you can't always necessarily really plan it, because, you know, maybe you have a really easy time getting pregnant. Then you can sort of plan it well, but some people kind of have issues conceiving. And it can take them a few tries, and by that time, the child isn't born in September anymore, but maybe like in December or January. And also, does it really matter that much? You know, your child's talent and how well they do in sports isn't really gonna be influenced by if they're born in May or September. Like, sure, yeah, they're probably gonna be one of the younger ones in the league. And yes, I'm aware children grow very fast and they might be like a little bit faster if they're a little bit older, but it still seems kind of strange to plan on this. Because it seems like you're so obsessed with it that you're just gonna yell at your child if they don't do well at sports, or if they don't want to do sports. Because imagine going through all the trouble of planning it and actually managing to have your child born like early September or September, And then they don't like sports, and you just constantly yell at them because, no, but I planned for this, you have to like this. That's not how children work. Let children be their own people with their own interests, I guess. Anyways, I'm gonna get a headache if I have to look at any more of these posts. I knew I was gonna get frustrated, but it's still fun, but it's still frustrating. You know, anyways, I hope you enjoyed these memes. I hope you're not too frustrated. If you are, maybe go drink a calming tea or something. I don't know what to tell you. I'm gonna go make coffee because otherwise I will lose my mind. But anyways, I hope you had fun, and I'll see you guys in a few days.